The countdown is on in Las Vegas. We're just 1 week away from Raiders rookies reporting to training camp, and that means real football is finally back. The veterans will follow just a few days later. From here on out, every rep, every snap, every moment matters. Training camp is more than just preparation. It's the proving ground. It's where rosters take shape and futures are defined. For the Raiders, there are still plenty of unanswered questions. Who earns a starting role? Who steps up when the pressure's on? That clarity only comes through competition, and this camp will be packed with it. Let's dive into one of the biggest position battles to watch, cornerback. Right now, all eyes are on Yakorian Bennett and rookie Darian Porter. Both are battling for a crucial role in a secondary that's been reshaped under new leadership. The Raiders have talent, yes, but chemistry, consistency, and durability. That's what still needs to be proven. Bennett, entering his third NFL season, has flashed serious potential. At his best, he's looked like a top 15 corner. But there's a problem: staying healthy. He's missed significant time in each of his first 2 seasons, and reliability has become a real concern. That matters, especially in a defense that demands physicality and availability. And make no mistake, this new regime values toughness and accountability. We heard during OTAs that Bennett was running with the second unit. Some say it's the shoulder. Others believe it's about trust, or a lack thereof. Defensive coordinator Patrick Graham even made it clear: Bennett has missed too much time. If you're not on the field, you're not in the plans. On the flip side, Darian Porter, the rookie, is already working with the first team. That's surprising. Porter hasn't played a single NFL snap, yet the coaching staff is giving him a long look. Why? Because he fits the scheme. PeteCarroll's influence is clear. He wants long, physical corners who can play off coverage and thrive in zone. That's exactly what Porter brings. Bennett, while talented, isn't the ideal scheme fit. He's quick, reactive, and gritty, but not long, not rangy. Porter, on the other hand, checks all those boxes. It's shaping up to be a classic battle. Proven experience versus system potential. Still, don't be quick to write Bennett off. If he has a strong camp, if he shuts down guys like Brock Bowers and Jakobi Meyers, then he forces the coach's hands. Tape doesn't lie, production talks. Also, don't forget about Eric Stokes. He's likely locked in as one of the starters. His history in zone-heavy systems makes him a natural fit. That means there may only be one spot truly up for grabs, and Porter and Bennett are fighting for it. This isn't just about who looks good in shorts. This is about who can line up on Sundays and hold their own against the league's best. And with a revamped linebacker group and new faces across the defense, cohesion is going to take time and trust. But the cornerback competition isn't the only major battle brewing in camp. Another critical fight is happening in the trenches, at right tackle. Last season, DJ Glaze, a third-round pick, came in as a rookie and took the job. He wasn't expected to start immediately, but when Thayer Munford went down, Glaze stepped in and never looked back. Even when Munford returned, the Raiders stuck with Glaze. That says everything about how much confidence they have in him. Now the question is, can Glaze take another step forward and cement his role? Or will someone else rise to challenge him? This is where championships are built, not in week 1, but right now. Every position battle matters. Every decision counts. And for the Las Vegas Raiders, this training camp is their first shot at writing a new chapter. The competition at right tackle isn't over just yet, not with Charles Grant in the picture. While DJ Glaze enters camp as the presumed starter, Grant could shake things up if he develops quickly. Grant is raw, no doubt about it. Coming from a smaller program, he's still adjusting to the speed, strength, and complexity of the NFL. His technique needs refinement, the game needs to slow down, and he's got to master the language of pro football. But what he does have: upside. Big-time upside. The fastest way to grow in this league is through reps. And Glaze got plenty of those last season. Over 1,200 snaps as a rookie gave him valuable experience, and it shows. He's polished, poised, and already trusted in the trenches. But if Grant shows even 90% of what Glaze brings, the Raiders are going to have a tough decision to make. Some fans are wondering, could Charles Grant be the long-term replacement for Colton Miller on the left side? Maybe. But if the front office is seriously considering moving on from Miller, a top 15 left tackle, for a rookie who hasn't proven himself, that's a bold move, and frankly, one that would raise a lot of eyebrows. Now, there's also been criticism of the Raiders' recent offensive line decisions. Take the draft, for instance. Some questioned passing on Jackson Powers Johnson, one of the top center prospects, in favor of players like Graham Barton. And while it's true that not all of those decisions came from the current staff, they still reflect on how this front office evaluates talent in the trenches. But putting all that aside, Grant remains one of the most intriguing players in this camp. If Miller lost down the left side, as expected, then Grant's most realistic path to playing time is through DJ Glaze. And that battle is going to be fascinating to watch. It's possible Grant never sees the field this year. It's possible Glaze wins the job outright and doesn't let go. But no matter what, Grant will be a player to monitor, especially during preseason. One standout game, one dominant performance, and the buzz will start building. Personally, I had my eye on Grant before the draft. He was one of my favorite prospects. I actually thought he projected better as a guard than a tackle. He's got the power, leverage, and movement skills that fit inside. If the Raiders gave him even a few reps at guard in camp or preseason, I think he'd flash right away. Because let's be honest, there are maybe 20 elite tackles in the entire league. Another 20 are average. The rest? Most teams are trying to replace them. That's why players like Charles Grant, who have rare traits, are worth developing. Even if he's not a finished product, the tools are there. And if an injury hits the interior line, why not slide Grant in at guard? If it makes the offensive line stronger, you make the move. This league doesn't wait. If you've got a guy with potential, you give him a shot. Now let's flip to the defensive side of the ball, where another battle is brewing, one that hasn't been talked about nearly enough. Most assume Isaiah Pola-Mao is the frontrunner at free safety. And sure, he's got upside. He's rangy, he's physical, and he's earned the respect of this coaching staff. But there are questions, real questions, about whether he's the right fit for this scheme. In a cover 3 defense, your free safety isn't just another body. He's the post defender, the deep center fielder. Think Earl Thomas, sideline to sideline, lightning fast, reading the quarterback, making plays. That's not Pola-Mao's game. Straight line speed, sure. But in terms of explosiveness, hip fluidity, and short area quickness, he's not there yet. And that opens the door for a name not many fans are talking about. Thomas Harper. Harper's been quietly climbing the depth chart. During OTAs, he even got first-team reps, and that's no small thing. Last year, he turned heads with his instincts and burst. Now, he's building real momentum. Coaches are talking. Teammates are noticing. If Harper continues on this track, don't be shocked if he makes a legitimate push for that starting role. Because in today's NFL, your free safety isn't just a piece, he's a centerpiece. And the Raiders need someone back there who can read, react, and erase big plays. Thomas Harper is turning heads in Raiders camp, and don't be surprised if he pushes hard for a starting job. Now in his second season under Patrick Graham's system, Harper isn't just a depth piece anymore. He's in the mix, and he's in it early. When the Chargers let him go, the Raiders wasted no time. They put in a claim immediately and made sure he didn't slip through the cracks. That tells you something about how much they value his upside. Harper has been getting first-team reps during OTAs, and that's a big deal. Not every safety is getting that kind of look. Trey Taylor and Cameron Richardson haven't seen those snaps. That's not to say they can't rise once camp gets going. but the early message is clear. The coaching staff sees something special in Harper. It's true that Isaiah Pola-Mao has been leading the reps, and rightfully so. He's experienced, he's steady, and he's flashed some real promise. But Harper has rotated in alongside him. And that rotation isn't just for show. It's a genuine competition. Don't be shocked if both guys see serious playing time this year. The Raiders are expected to lean heavily on big nickel packages, a look that trades the slot corner for a versatile safety. In that alignment, you might see Pola-Mao and Jeremy Chin playing closer to the line, while someone like Thomas Harper or Lonnie Johnson mans the deep middle. That's where things get interesting, because this scheme needs a true center fielder at free safety. Someone who can patrol the deep third, make reads on the quarterback, and break on the football. That's not necessarily Pola-Mao's strength. He's more physical than fluid. Harper, though, he might just have that deep range ability this system demands. The safety battle is one of several fierce competitions heating up. Add it to a growing list. Darian Porter versus Yokorian Bennett at corner, DJ Glaze versus Charles Grant at right tackle, and now Harper versus Pola-Mao in the defensive backfield. And we're just getting started. Now let's talk about a matchup that could define the front seven. Malcolm Koonce versus Tyree Wilson. We know Max Crosby is going to command double teams and set the tone off the edge. But who's going to line up opposite him? That's where this battle gets fierce. When Antonio Pierce took over midseason and gave Malcolm Koonce the green light, everything changed. Koonce finally got the snaps, and he delivered. Explosive, aggressive, and disruptive. Tyree Wilson, meanwhile, saw his edge reps drop significantly. He was moved inside, used as a rotational piece at defensive tackle. This year, it's a turning point. Koonce is heading into a contract year, and he's playing for a serious payday, possibly $20 million plus if he puts up double-digit sacks. The motivation is there. The production has already started, and he's shown he's ready for a full-time role. Wilson, on the other hand, is still searching for consistency. This is a critical season. He needs to prove he belongs as a top-tier edge rusher. If he can't outperform Koonce in camp, the Raiders may keep using him as an interior option. But that's not his natural strength. Wilson's length and power are more effective against tackles than guards. Inside, he loses the physical advantage. He's facing maulers, not technicians. That changes the game. This is more than a training camp depth chart battle. It's a roster philosophy decision. If Koonce explodes again this year, the Raiders will face a tough choice. Do you pay him big money to stay? Or do you let him walk and hope Wilson develops into that guy? Koonce has already shown more consistency off the edge. But Wilson is the first-round investment. He's the guy with 3 years of control left and the expectation to be a cornerstone. The only thing that will decide it, performance. If Koonce stays healthy and dominates camp the way he ended last season, he'll take the job. But if Wilson shows growth, real growth, then it gets complicated. This is a battle not just for playing time, but for the future of the Raiders' pass rush. Let's talk about a situation the Raiders could be forced to confront soon, and it centers around Tyree Wilson. If Wilson doesn't take a significant leap this year, the Raiders might have to make a difficult decision. Whether it's considering a trade, exploring waivers, or simply reducing his role, the clock is ticking. And if Malcolm Koonce continues to play like a difference maker, the Raiders might prioritize keeping him, even if it means restructuring contracts to make room. Could they shift some of Christian Wilkins' cap hit to future seasons? Maybe. Could Koonce become the team's true number 2 pass rusher opposite Max Crosby? It's possible. If that happens, it may signal that Tyree Wilson's long-term role in this defense is in jeopardy. Now let's turn to the 5th and final camp battle, one that could reshape the Raiders' entire offense. The guard positions on the interior offensive line. Right now, the expectation is Dylan Parham at left guard and Alex Kappa at right guard. But expectations don't always match reality, especially when it comes to trench warfare. Kappa is returning from injury, and it's unclear if he can return to his Pro Bowl caliber form. Parham, meanwhile, has battled health issues of his own, and his durability has become a real concern. If either one falters, there are names on this roster ready to make a move. Watch for Caleb Rogers. The third-round pick is versatile, strong, and already taking meaningful snaps at guard. And don't sleep on Thayer Munford, who's shifted inside and may be better suited for guard than tackle in this new scheme. Even Jordan Meredith, initially expected to back up at center, has seen time at left guard. And if he's the best option, he could absolutely start. Let's not forget Will Putnam, who surprisingly made the roster as a rookie last season. Or Jared Hufford, the undrafted bruiser from Iowa State who put up over 30 reps on the bench press and brings that classic guard nastiness to the table. All of this means one thing. The guard spots are wide open. By the time week 1 arrives, the starting 5 may look very different than expected. Don't be shocked if only Colton Miller, Jackson Powers-Johnson, and DJ Glaze remain locked in. The guard spots could be flipped completely. And even if Parham and Kappa win the jobs in camp, there's no guarantee they hold onto them through the season. This offensive line is in transition, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Teams don't go from average to elite overnight. They build, they experiment, they develop. That's what 2025 looks like for the Raiders' O-line. There's young talent, there's upside, and there's room for growth. DJ Glaze could become a franchise cornerstone. Caleb Rogers might take over at right guard. And Dylan Parham, despite the injuries, might finally take that next step. Remember Damian Lewis with the Seahawks? He struggled his first few seasons, but by year 4, he stayed healthy, found his rhythm, and emerged as one of the most dominant guards in the league, eventually landing a major contract with the Panthers. That kind of growth isn't rare, it's earned. If Parham can stay healthy, stay consistent, and tap into that potential, he could follow the same path. Maybe not elite, but solid, reliable, and worth keeping around. One thing's for sure. This year, the Raiders' offensive line is going to be tested, challenged, and constantly evolving. Every snap, every rep, every week, it's all going to matter. And the journey starts now. Camp is almost here. The battles are heating up. The roster decisions are coming. And the foundation for this season and this franchise's future is about to be built in the trenches.